Hi, it's Mark here. It is Tuesday, June the 23rd, just after 8 a.m. Eastern. That's just after 12 p.m. GMT. US session well underway and into the afternoon portion of the European session. Let's have a look at the US dollar index, and you can see another strong day on the index. Demand for US dollars, uptrend, higher highs, higher lows. I've got support now at 171 and I've got resistance at 10109. Higher yields, hawkish Fed, all contributing, and also the other majors, particularly the euro and the yen, which make up 70% of the index, the basket that makes up the index, are all weak and all adding up to a really strong dollar index, and it's strong against the majors this morning. If I scroll back, interesting that the levels we're sitting at now, above 101, last time we were at these levels was way back in 2025 in May. So you can see how very strong the current levels are, and we'll see if there is continued demand for US dollars and if buyers can maintain at these levels, perhaps even higher, or if we get a turnaround and sellers step in and look to bounce down off these levels. But certainly US dollar on a strong footing to start today's US session. Let's have a look at the S&P 500. We're looking at the futures market. Good hour and a half till Wall Street opens up. And here you see the inverse relationship playing out between the two major assets. Strong US dollar, weak equities. And look at the strong push lower in futures trading today. I've got resistance at 7,549. I've got support at 7,424. Tech stocks down, following up from yesterday's sell-off. We've got a hawkish Fed. Also, the Asian and European stock markets have been lower today. So US markets, equity markets following suit, and definitely a risk-off theme going into the Wall Street opening today. Let's have a look at gold. And there you see weak gold again. In terms of gold being a safe haven commodity, certainly it looks like the market is more focused on a strong US dollar and high interest rates than the geopolitical aspect today. Interesting also that technically what we've seen in gold, if I go back, is it's been the theme has been buying the dip as gold had its very strong run all the way. You can see here, every time it came down a little bit, buyers were stepping in. We're now seeing the opposite. We're seeing sell the rally. So every time gold tries to go a little bit higher, you see these green candlesticks where they're strengthening. A day where gold does strengthen, sellers are stepping in and pushing it lower. And now the 4,000 level is the new support, 4,086, looking possibly at that 4,000 level, a strong level to break below. We'll see how that continues through the US session. Let's have a look at Brent oil. Lots of focus on Brent oil from a geopolitical standpoint with the US-Iran talks. What we see here with oil continuing to be sold off in red candlesticks and a strong downtrend is that oil is a forward-looking market and always looking at the most likely outcome. And the market sees that the risk of supply disruption is falling. Straits slowly opening up, the Straits of Hormuz, and Iran now exporting oil. And adding to this strong down move is that traders were heavily long starting when the war started almost 4 months ago. And now that there's optimism, some of these profits have been locked in. It's still a very fragile market, but certainly at this point, optimism about a deal being concluded and reached and maybe eventually signed and the straits being open, all adding and contributing to to what you're seeing now, sitting at this support at 75.90. I've got resistance at 78.29. When the war started, just over $70 was what Brent oil was sitting at, and you can see now approaching those levels perhaps. Let's have a look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin selling off again today. The risk off theme seems to be contributing to the sell-off in Bitcoin. Strong US dollar, hawkish Fed, all contributing. Bitcoin, I feel, needs some kind of some major catalyst, maybe something in the field of regulations being introduced, something to create demand. We don't have demand right now. Also, what I do note is that those holding Bitcoin are not selling and seem to be holding on. So the long-term holders are not selling aggressively for now, which is, I think, why Bitcoin is able to hold up and show some resilience, holding above this 60,000 level for now. If we look at gold, which is being aggressively sold off, we look at oil, which is down, we're looking at stocks, which is down, Bitcoin kind of holding its own for now. We'll see how that does play out. I've got support at 61.8 thousand. I've got resistance at 64.2 thousand, trading within this comfortable, relatively narrow range going into today's US session. Good trading, and I'll see you at the end of day.